Companion is a new horror movie. It's written and directed by Drew Hancock. It stars Sophie Thatcher, Jack Quaid, Megan Surrey, Rupert Friend, and Lucas Gage. And it's kind of hard to explain without spoiling the movie. I really liked the teaser trailer for this movie because it really gave away nothing. I kind of want to keep this spoiler-free. In order to talk about the movie, though, I do have to get into some small elements. It isn't really a spoiler. It's revealed early on. And if you've seen any of the marketing for this movie, you're going to know this going in. I want to start by saying I really did like this movie. It came out in January, and I was expecting, since it's a January horror movie, it would be pretty bad. A lot of horror movies, or just movies in general, that come out this month are bad. The other horror movies I saw, The Damned, absolute garbage. Wolfman, absolute garbage. I thought that Companion was a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, it's entertaining, and that gets the job done. It wasn't an amazing movie. It wasn't something that I was floored by, or a movie that, did anything really different. I think at the end of the day, that is what made Companion to me not amazing. We've seen movies like this before, and because of that, it wasn't amazing. I do want to get into the plot, talk about what it's about. The movie stars Sophie Thatcher as Iris. She's a young woman who goes on a trip with her boyfriend, played by Jack Quaid, and they go to this billionaire's house. Their friends live there. Megan Surrey and Rupert Friend are together. Rupert Friend is this Russian billionaire guy. Harvey Guillen, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and Lucas Gage are a couple. I really liked this movie because it's well-paced and entertaining. I mentioned that it really isn't doing anything incredibly new, but it's still entertaining. And that is the draw here. It's fun to watch. It leaves you guessing. It has a really cool structure where you're kind of wondering what's going to happen. If it kind of played out in chronological order, it would not be as interesting. But like the movie Strange Darling, which came out last year, it plays with structure in a way that allows it to be more entertaining and more suspenseful, and it adds mystery. The kind of twist here, and it's not really a twist, but it's the main hook of the movie, is that Iris is a robot. She's a companion robot. And we've seen movies like this before, like Ex Machina is the first thing that really came to mind. But this is more of a blockbuster. It's more of a radio silence type movie, like I think of Ready or Not, or Scream, or recently Abigail. It's a movie that blends horror and comedy, and it's not really horror. To me, it was more sci-fi, thriller, comedy with some horror elements. I think what would have worked for me, honestly, what would have sold me on this movie is if it was a bit more gnarly, is if it was a bit more just weird and brutal. I think of movies, this fits into the very recently emerging genre in Hollywood blockbusters of female-driven revenge movies. And I think of a film like Fresh, which I really liked. And I honestly liked Fresh just a little more. They're similar, but I thought like that had a more inventive style. I think this is a really promising start for Drew Hancock. I really did think it was very stellar, and it was produced by the guy who did Barbarian. But even Barbarian had more of an intrigue to it. That movie also played with structure incredibly well. But Barbarian was just creepier, scarier. The comedy was balanced way better. I really did enjoy Companion. I'm just saying that I think there's a way to put these two genres. And also, Barbarian was a crowd pleaser. I remember people were cheering, laughing because of the contrast in horror and comedy. This movie it's fun, but it really isn't too hilarious or too scary. And I think it needed to be a bit more of both. It really feels like it could be a Black Mirror episode, which is something that, I feel like gets thrown around a lot with more recent sci-fi movies. It is absolutely a good January movie. It's one that I'm pretty surprised by. I really was expecting this to be not bad, but just with the release date, I was kind of expecting to be let down. This really is a solid film. I would check it out. It's a really good template for how to make an entertaining revenge movie. I think all the characters are very interesting. I think everyone gets fleshed out. It's not a movie that I would say, I want to see more of the characters, the backstories. I say that with some movies a lot. I just wish this movie was a bit more inventive, I guess, with its visual style and with the way it plays with violence and horror. Just because they're making a movie about a killer robot, and I think it just needed more of that evil robot. They are trying to humanize Iris, and I don't want to give away any more about the film than I already have. I really liked it. I really did like a lot of it. I just think it's a really good template, but there could have been more. And you guys can let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought of Companion. Thank you so much for watching.